All right, here we go. We've got some new words from the creative director of Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2 about things like, well, will we see new playable races in the future? Will Saber Interactive move on from Space Marine 2 quickly and begin work on a Space Marine 3? A lot of you guys from my previous video were very worried about that one. Plus, one of the worst takes about Space Marine 2, and yes, it comes from IGN. And something strange is happening with Space Marine 2 Operations Mode. And a warning for PC players, you got to know this one. And someone did the impossible. Yes, they actually put some of the campaign missions, I kid you not, into Operations Mode. But how in the world did they do it? And we need to talk about the severe lack of chaos customization in this game. And also, check this out right here. Can you imagine being part of the team that developed Space Marine 2 to actually be a part of creating something so amazing? And to become a successful coder or programmer, you do not have to sit through boring classes. And that's where boot.dev comes in, replacing mundane classes with fun, memorable courses that are just like an RPG video game. You'll earn XP, achievements, and level up as you complete quests. And you can even get competitive with online leaderboards or not, it's up to you. There's even a powerful AI bear wizard named Boots that'll walk you through all of it while ensuring you still learn a thing or two. And my favorite thing, you can join a community of like-minded individuals on boot.dev's Discord, so you're never alone on this journey. So if you want to learn back-end web development and programming languages like Python and Go, check out boot.dev. Click that link in the description box below and use my code OpenWorldGames to get 25% off your first payment for boot.dev. That's 25% off your first month or first year, depending on the subscription you choose. And remember, there's a 30-day no questions asked refund policy and even a free demo of every course and its interactive features. And a huge thanks to boot.dev for sponsoring this video. Check it out. All right, so what in the world did the creative director say today? So here's the question first and foremost. As I know it's a massive ask, but what are the chances of seeing other playable races in multiplayer, such as Orcs or Tyranids? Remember, he's saying playable, which really piqued my interest here. And the creative director of Space Marine 2 said this: "We've created an amazing foundation with this game. All the tech and gameplay mechanics are in place to move forward and tell all kinds of stories. Only time will tell where we go with it, but there is huge possibility." So, would you guys like to eventually be able to play as an Orc, for example, or even have some sort of unique mode around playing as a Tyranid? The only thing I can think of, another game that did kind of something similar, and I never thought it would ever do this, was DICE's Star Wars Battlefront 2. They added a mode where you could play as an Ewok. So you never know. It could be possible that the devs might want to experiment to see how it would be received ultimately. They like to run these R&D tests, especially later on in a game's life, just to test the water. So it would make sense. Maybe they might want to dabble in that sort of thing. Now, this is interesting right here. Check it out. It says, here's a list of the pros and cons of Space Marine 2 for me. And he lays out all of this. It's kind of like a miniature review here. I'm not going to go over all of that, but we did get a reply here from the creative director. He says, "Thanks so much for supporting the game. Thrilled that you love the story. It was written by myself, Craig Sherman, Randy Bagel, and Maddie Garcia. We will be supporting this game for a long time, and I hope we'll address some of your criticism." So again, he's doubling down here, saying they're going to be supporting this game for a long time. They are not in this for the short term. So yes, you can have a sigh of relief. And I know my previous video really did ruffle some feathers, and understandably so. You guys just purchased Space Marine 2. You just got involved with this, and we're only at the very beginning of this game. Why in the world would they kind of like jump ship and go to Space Marine 3? More on that in the top comments, by the way. Oh boy. But yes, the good news is this. Yeah, it's going to be supported for a very long time. Now, also in some other official news here, we have Focus Entertainment, who says the Emperor Provides Space Marine 2's original soundtrack is now available on Spotify, Apple Music, and more. So yeah, if you just want to sit and listen to some epic music, go for it. And let me tell you what, we recently had one of the worst takes I have seen here out on social media about Space Marine 2. And it comes from, yes, IGN. It says, Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2 doesn't have a lot going for it as a video game, but that's what makes it great. I was like, what? I was immediately scratching my head wondering, what in the hell are they talking about? And we got some replies saying this. So a campaign, PvE, cooperative operations, and PvP with 3 modes means it doesn't have a lot going for it. and the devs have a fully planned out roadmap that includes updates for the 2 multiplayer modes as well as a horde mode coming. Yeah, that was exactly my assessment as well when I heard this. And a game doesn't have to have like this fully fleshed out, ridiculous RPG system with looter shooter mechanics that can overblow a game and really actually bring it down to make it a game that has a lot going for it. It's just ridiculous. I think a lot of people want to return to the old school type of playing games, you know, Gears of War, that sort of thing. We've seen success with Helldivers 2 even recently. It's honestly been such a breath of fresh air, let me tell you what. Then again, there are some issues that are still plaguing the game currently, and there's something very strange going in operations mode, especially if you are playing in a party of 2. Check it out right here. It says this: multiplayer matchmaking is the worst part of this game. Everything else seems extremely well done. And we scroll down here, it says game just released and it's probably the best release game I've played in years. The campaign was excellent and now I'm on what I wanted to play, which is Operations. My most played game last year was Darktide. So far, with the now 12 hours into Operations, it's glaringly obvious the matchmaking system sucks. Quick match gets you into a game with guys messing around with armory. Matching seems to pause so no one joins your game after the first minute. The class block on launch should be a simple pick on mission launch if there's a conflict. If someone crashes or leaves 5 minutes in, you'll have a bot for the rest of the match. It says things that would fix this and make it awesome. Quick match drops you into running available games. Servers should be open for the entire match we're joining. Remove that class block just to instantly select another class anywhere. Tab is still stupid. Slow to the armor. Yeah, and these are all things that really can slow down the matchmaking process for sure. And I think there should be a better way of indicating that you have joined someone's room. If they're in the armory messing around with, you know, the armor, there needs to be like a flashing icon to let them know, hey, someone has actually joined you. You might want to like pay attention. Not to say like, hurry up, get your gear equipped immediately, let's go, but just to really let them know someone is in their lobby. And there's a bunch of comments in here that indicate that this seems to be a problem when you're in a party with 2. Here it is. It says this: unfortunately, that is the way the matchmaking works currently. If you are in a group of 2, you will not get matchmaking going. You need to join a random game. Hope there's a spot for your friend and then have them join, and then pray to the God Emperor the random does not leave the game or you'll have to do it again. So I think, crossing my fingers, they did say that they're going to have stability improvements, all sorts of stuff here in their next major patch, due out here in September. So I'm hoping that this alleviates those issues that we're all currently facing with that one. Now, you PC players, you're definitely going to want to know this. I did mention the FOB changer mod recently. And then from that video, by the way, I did like pretty much instantly remove the link to that one because someone brought up the point in the comments, hey, Robbie, are you sure that this wouldn't be frowned upon by Saber Interactive? They might consider this cheating. Who knows? I know it sounds ridiculous, but I got to pay attention to what you guys are saying. And guess what? I went back to the FOB changer mod and it is under moderation right now. So I'm thinking that maybe this actually is something that you got to be very, very mindful of if you guys are actually going to be pursuing installing mods, and especially if you hop into PvP, be careful. I don't want you guys getting in trouble whatsoever. Now, some really strange, interesting things have been happening in the modding community. Again, I did not expect this to be a mod scene type game. Check out the headline right here. It says this: we played the Most Wanted Space Marine 2 mod, and it's live now. We tested the new Campaign Ops mod, which lets you replay Space Marine 2's campaign missions in operation mode with its creator. And there's proof of this. Check out the screenshots right here. This is very cool, though. I'd actually love to see some of these campaign missions make it into operations mode. We discussed that briefly in a previous video, but it looks like someone's getting a jump start on this one. Now, the article goes on to say this: Braithwaite, Wargamer, and a completely unprepared PlayStation player who got matched with us all loaded into Mission 5 of the Space Marine 2 campaign with our operations characters. Everything worked. The mission accepted our characters just fine. Our custom PvE Space Marines all function in the mission perfectly. We were able to use our Space Marine 2 class abilities, zipping around with Vanguard's grapple or turning the sniper invisible. We could also pick up the Space Marine 2 weapons lying around the level, even if they weren't part of our class loadout. This is wild that they were actually able to accomplish this. Now, Braithwaite is a professional game developer who has worked on titles including Crackdown 3, Sniper Elite, and Sea of Thieves, and he's very impressed by how stable the systems powering Space Marine 2 are. It should be really easy for their team to add new operations. It's heartening to hear that the Space Marine 2 post-launch roadmap is on a good footing, and that some of the ideas fans are clamoring for in the official community site may be easier to realize than we anticipated. This right here is the highlight of the article for me, even beyond, the mod itself. That is such good news to hear, that they have an amazing foundation that is easy to build upon. So there have been games that I have covered where the modders are like, whoa, this game is not set up for being expanded upon. The devs are going to have a rough time. And when you hear that sort of thing, it is alarming. So to hear this is excellent news, and it bodes well for the foreseeable future of the game. But yeah, we got to talk about chaos customization, because a lot of people feel like, man, it is completely neglected. Check it out. So the chaos customization. The game is great, and I'm enjoying it a lot, especially PvP, but the absolute lack of chaos customization is a huge con for me. You only get some color swaps, and that's it. Can't even switch the legions for the classes. Bit of a rant, but it really just sucks. Oh, I guess also the only 3-man queue for PvP and no custom games too. I like PvP a lot in the last game, as you can tell, LOL. Yeah, and someone expanded upon this as well, saying customization in general needs a lot more options, in my opinion. It's a wonderful foundation, but only really having Mark X armor, excluding the Death Watch Paladins, and no real chaos customization beyond colors is a bit disappointing. I'd love to see everything from Mark II through 8 added to supplement what we have now. Thankfully, that doesn't seem like an outlandish desire, and I have pretty high hopes it'll happen. And the dev teams have officially replied. They have stated, hey, we have plans for adding more customization options. Those exact plans have only been laid out in the year 1 battle plan, of course, but beyond that, we don't know how detailed they'll get with this system. But I'm kind of curious to see what happens, and if they see a lot of success with people really investing in the cosmetics, then yeah, they're going to go after it big time. Also, yeah, someone said this: I'm willing to spend dumb amounts of money on chaos customization DLC, and that's what it comes down to. And I think the dev teams are going to look at that and go, maybe we need to get on this, or they already have plans in the pipeline to get on this. It's just that it wasn't something that was able to make it into the launch of the game. All right, so yes, now it's time to go over your top comments. So remember, leave a comment down below. It could end up right here in a future video. And oh boy, my recent video kind of ruffled some feathers. If you missed it, check it out. But that was definitely not my intent. So I mentioned in that video, and I covered how there was this tease in Focus Community's recent kind of like Warhammer Serious with the Titus voice actor. And in that video, there was this tease towards what looked to be Necrons eventually making their way into Space Marine as a franchise. I said it's either going to be Space Marine 2 DLC, or it's going to be Space Marine 3, or it's going to be related to the secret level project coming up here through Amazon Prime. I really should have doubled down on my own opinion here. My opinion is that yes, it would be a Space Marine 2 expansion way down the road if this happens. But some of you are also having some comments in here about something that's on the roadmap about the enemy type. So let's get into the comments. All right. So here we go. Let's cool the jets about Space Marine 3. The game officially came out like 4 days ago. We don't need that brain rot just yet. And it says, and plus Space Marine 2 is live service, so it's probably going to last a couple of years, and they already tease new enemies for the next couple of seasons. Exactly, and that's what I wanted to highlight. They do have on there that there would be a new enemy. It's literally described new enemy. It doesn't say new faction. So I was kind of apprehensive of blowing this up and overhyping it, because new enemy could literally mean a singular unit, like a new elite, a new sub-boss being added to the maps. I do not want to go, oh my god, guys, Necrons are absolutely coming with, the first year of the game. You guys would be really pissed at me if I got that wrong. So I decided to be more cautious about this, try not to overhype it, and at the very least give some options and some wiggle room here as to what could happen. Like, Space Marine 2 expansion past year 1. Space Marine 3, which no one wants to hear about Space Marine 3. I totally get it. 100%. You guys have absolutely invested your time in Space Marine 2, what little time we've already had with the game, and you want more time to be invested in what is a great foundation that they could build off of. It only makes sense. But yeah, 100% agree with you guys that I don't even want to hear about Space Marine 3 right now at all. We're just in the infancy stage, basically, of this game. So give me a break. Now, someone also did say this right here. I would like to see a live service if it's done right. Live service doesn't have to be trash. It's just the current method most games have adopted. Agree. You know, very few games can get it right. It just feels like they're drip feeding content constantly. And, you know, some people already feel that way, perhaps, about Space Marine 2. That the full launch of the game should have come with the extra PvE map that we're getting in year 1. But, you know, I'm a realist. I get that some things just cannot make it into the launch of game. And I think what we have here is a solid package to start. Now, also, someone did note this right here. I mean, why not just sell $10 DLCs of like 3 new story mode operations every once in a while to continue the story? I love that idea. I don't know. You know, you don't see many companies doing that sort of thing. I myself, I like the good old days when, like, you know, do you remember StarCraft? When they had those big ass expansions, they cost like $30, $40. Even like The Witcher 3 had a $40 expansion, and then you got to see Elden Ring's expansion. Those are the things I love the most when it comes to downloadable content and DLC, the meaty offerings, you know, that you want to see. And I really hope that Space Marine 2 gets something similar in that regard. Because going after Necrons, I would think that would require several operations maps, wouldn't it? Or maybe they can change up the current existing ones. Like, I don't know, an invasion happens? I don't know. But they could do a lot of different cool stuff with that. All right, so there it is. The latest happenings around Space Marine 2. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned here for more news and updates. I have you guys covered as always, and I will see you all next time. Take care.